Welcome back to the Saturday show here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hope you all are doing well on this Saturday morning. Hour 2 of the program underway right now. If you miss it, by the way, any part of the show, we podcast it. We put it up hours. We put up interviews. Do all of that stuff so you can consume it on demand whenever you want. Please encourage, if you're just tuning in, to check that out. We are awaiting the start of the Bears at the Bills. The Caleb Williams era about to begin in Chicago.
Yeah, and I like the first week of preseason is always the best because that's when you'll see the starters get the most reps.
It feels that way, yeah.
Well, I mean, every coach does it differently, but yeah, typically you'll see starters play for about a quarter-ish, depending on the team. But I'm excited to see Caleb Williams, for better or for worse. Everybody kind of has their own opinion on him, but number 1 overall pick, they got a lot of hype. A top 10 receiver pick. They used a top 10 pick on a receiver as well. So
yeah. Rome Odunze, by the way.
Yeah.
Do you guys know that Rome Odunze has a connection to Utah?
Remind me what it is. I remember talking to you about it.
His grandparents live in Vineyard, Utah, right adjacent to Orem, Utah. He spent most of his childhood visiting them out here in Utah. His dad played high school football, wait for it, at Timpanogos High School. Nice. His mom, I think, was a star at Mountain View. She may have gone to Mountain View where I went to.
Oh, both of his parents are from here. That's cool.
Rome spent a lot of his childhood visiting here, but grew up mainly in Las Vegas. That's where he started Bishop Gorman High School before going to Washington. But Rome Odunze, Utah connection there. Kind of a fun thing. I don't think we talked about that enough, by the way. Now, had he played here, it would change things. But,
right.
Still cool. It's a connection all the same. All right, so I had a chance to talk. I'm out there at BYU football practices often. I have the opportunity to catch up with players and coaches. I had a great chat with Darius Lassiter. Now, whoever ends up as the quarterback for BYU needs to have weapons around them, and I think they have that. They have their top 6 pass catchers back from last year, Christian, and that includes, if you want to count it as 7, you can do that because Keanu Hill has moved to tight end. So their top 7 receivers, in terms of the wide receivers, are all back. There are weapons there for whoever ends up winning this QB job. The question is, who can emerge and be that proverbial number 1 at wide receiver? Well, it could be Darius Lassiter, and I had a chance to catch up with him. Let's let you hear that conversation. Now, you had some question about your eligibility during the spring. Are you happy that it worked out the way it did?
Yeah, most definitely. Anytime you kind of get a chance to come back with this group of guys, you cherish those moments. I knew that's something I was going to miss the most. I know it's a game, but the bonds and relationships that you make, that's what makes it better.
When it came to your decision to come back, was it unfinished business? What was the whole thought process with pursuing that extra year?
I just felt like it's a lot of left work out there that I can do. I knew that I didn't even touch how good I could be or even come close to that potential. I was learning a new system and things like that, so I feel like me having that spring under my belt, I know the offense is way better now. I feel like I can teach the new guys, the young guys, even Cody and Chase that have been here for a while. So I feel real comfortable here.
Are you enjoying, because I'm assuming you've kind of stepped into a little bit of a leadership role here, are you enjoying that kind of upperclassman role now? Yeah,
most definitely. I feel like that's something that's kind of like, that's just kind of in me. I kind of just want to see guys be better because it's not going to just help me, it's going to help the team. When everybody can play at the best of their levels, the ceiling is the sky's the ceiling for us. And so I just feel like if I can be a leader to everybody else, that everything can go rolling.
What lessons did you learn from year 1 in the Big 12?
I just feel like you gotta have a dog mentality. You gotta come out every play, and you gotta go out there and want to win. You want to go out there and work. Everybody else want to go out there and go to the next level and compete at a high level. I feel like the Big 12 is doing that, especially adding the new teams. I feel like we have one of the best conferences in the nation. So I feel like you gotta have that mentality that I'm gonna work whatever and whenever. Nobody got to see me working. It's just gonna happen.
What did you work on most during the summer, like in terms of your skill set?
My skill set, off the field wise, I just wanted to get bigger, stronger, faster. Okay. Those are things that you always need as well, especially playing in this conference. I got to go down there and block DN sometimes and linebackers. So I feel like now that I put on weight, I'm at 214 now. So okay. I feel good running around. And then on the field wise, just transition out of breaks and route running. If you can master the art of route running, that's all you really need. Everybody can have speed, but at the end of the day, you got to run routes.
You said 214 in terms of your weight. Where were you at last year as compared to?
I was about 205.
Okay, so about 10 pounds.
Yeah, 10 pounds.
Give or take. Now, in terms of your mindset, do you have the mindset that you can come in and emerge as the number one this year?
I feel like any of us have that mindset. I think you need that. I feel like that's gonna carry you a long way. But most definitely, I feel like I can come out here and be the guy. Chase was the guy last year. Keelan can pop off and be the guy. Cody could be the guy. He was the guy 2 years ago. So I feel like we had the guys in the room that anybody can be the number one guy this year. My main focus is just keep building each day. So just to prove to everybody around here that I'm somebody that you can rely on.
Okay, here's the inevitable question. It's a cute quarterback battle going on. How's it been working with Jake and Gary in particular?
It's been amazing working with them. Just seeing them two just bring out the best in each other. I feel like that's going to just help us. When you have two guys that want to compete at a high level, that want to go out there and win for the team, both vocal leaders as well. So it's just great having two of those guys around. Each one bring their own kind of game to the team. So I'm excited to see which one brings it out.
What's the biggest difference between the two, if there's anything?
I feel like it's a lot of throws that Jake can make with his arm. He can throw the sidearm, all the Patrick Mahomes,
different angles
and everything like that. And then I feel like Gary's ability to extend plays and then also launch the ball down the field, especially now that he got the spring on his shoulders, and then his shoulders feeling the best as ever since he's been here. So he's been looking great, especially through the summer. We were just running around, just throwing with him. Now
you obviously played with him during the spring. We talked to him at the end of spring, and he talked about the fact that he hadn't been really. He felt like really rip in terms of being able to really kind of throw heavy. Is it different now with his arm?
Oh yeah, most definitely. You can definitely feel the impact when you're catching it now. When we first came back in the summer, I was like, okay, he put a little oil on the shoulder now.
Okay. In terms of just looking ahead to training camp, what are you looking forward to accomplishing over these next 3 to 4 weeks?
Just to bring out the best, and not myself, just my teammates as well. I feel like what everybody needs is leaders on the team. Leaders is gonna bring the team together. The players, this is the players' team, so the coaches might coach us, but at the end of the day, it falls down on the players. So the more that we can bring each other together and compete at a high level, I feel like that's only going to help us August 31st.
Now, there was a video during the offseason, the strength staff chirping at you guys about, we want to go 5-7 again, keep doing it. Has that been kind of a talking point all off-season long?
Yeah, most definitely. I feel like that kind of left a bad taste in everybody's mouth, especially after the Oklahoma State game.
Yeah.
We knew that we didn't play our best at all, but we still found a way to keep games close. Not saying that we like that at all. We want to win at the end of the day, but it's a lot that we can build on and improve, but it's a lot of stuff that we didn't do that we also learned from. So I feel like everybody was eager to get here. I could tell that from the first team meeting when we first got back in January. Everybody was hungry. Everybody wants to go out here and work. We got something to prove. Not a lot of people believe in us, but everybody in here on this team believes, and so that's all that we need.
What's your confidence level that this team can be one of those, quote, surprise teams?
I wouldn't say it's a surprise to us. We know what we did the whole summer, winter as well. We know the work that we put in. We know how hard the strength staff pushed us. People might see the videos on Instagram and whatnot, but we was the ones in here working. We was the ones in here hurting, pushing, and trying to come out here and be better, because we know that 5-7 feeling, that's not something that you want. You want to go bowling. You don't want to go home before December. So everybody's in here. We're hungry. We're just ready to go.
Last thing for me is, what's the messaging been from the coaching staff going into the season?
Just to let the outside noise, just to let them talk. We don't got to feed into that. Everybody know the type of players that we have on this team, the type of coaches. Whether you might hear something bad on the internet or not, talking about OC receivers, whatever it might be. We know we trust A-Rod. He's been doing this for a very long time. So a lot of stuff that he does and that people don't see, they just kind of put the blame when we kind of lose and things like that. But I trust Coach A-Rod with my career. That's where I signed here. So I believe in this team.
There you go. Darius Lassiter stumping for his OC there.
Yeah. I really liked your question about the differences between the two quarterbacks, between Retzlaff and Bohannon. And we kind of hit on that last hour, but, like, it's a pretty big deal.
It is.
And you even talk about, like, the spirals that they throw. Like, even the way that the ball spins kind of adjusts how the wide receivers catch it.
Well, and that's the thing. Wide receivers, they obviously want to know, okay, where did these guys like to throw the ball to? There's stories, and I'll use the basketball analogy of John Stockton back in the day. He would have a guy come into the Utah Jazz, and he'd ask him, okay, Where do you like the ball? I mean,
Yeah.
And the guys are looking like, what do you mean?
You want it at your chest? You want it at your hips? Where do you start your shooting form from?
Yeah, like where? Yeah, and they'd be like, "Oh, I like it here." And guess what? Ball is delivered right there.
Yeah.
And that's a mastery of a position, obviously, that very few people will get to. But quarterbacks have to be able to do stuff like that. And wide receivers want to know, okay, if I'm in the BYU case, I'm working with Gary over here. Well, he's more of kind of an over-the-top throwing motion, whereas Jake, I would call it a three-quarter kind of motion. Think of like a Phillip Rivers, for example, if you remember him in the NFL.
Yeah. Not quite a sidearm, but not all the way straight up either. Yeah.
And guess what? The delivery is different, so the ball comes out differently. And so we'll see what happens. But the thing is, every one of those wide receivers needs to step up. If BYU can find a quarterback that can deliver the ball to those guys fairly accurately on time, let them make plays, that will go a long way to helping BYU look better on offense.
Yeah. The good news is, I mean, BYU's got a fairly seasoned room of receiving talent.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a lot of dudes returning. I know Darius Lassiter is probably going to be the leader of the pack, but there's, I guess, 3 or 4 dudes that wouldn't surprise you if they led the team in receiving yards.
I'll say this. There is no Austin Collie, Puka Nacua, Cody Hoffman, I feels like, on
There's
this roster.
There's not an alpha.
Yeah. Could one emerge? Sure. I think Darius Lassiter has every opportunity to become that, quote-unquote, the alpha of that group. But as you heard, I asked him that question. He said, we got every guy in this room wants to be that
But
guy.
they're deep, and that's the thing, is there's not one that's head and shoulders better than the rest, but there's 3, 4, 5 guys that it's like, okay, I'm comfortable with him being out there.
You may not have a guy go for 1,000 yards receiving this season, or 1,500 yards. But if you have 5 guys go for 500 or so.
Yes, and that's ultimately good for this quarterback situation that BYU has is, just having that many options to make it that much easier on something that is a question mark right now.
Well, but it's going to remain a question mark.
Yes.
Indefinitely.
Throughout the season.
So it's very interesting. Now, the other thing about this is, well, should we get to the other interview here? I know we're running out of time.
Sure.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get to it. So Ryner Swanson is a 17-year-old tight end. You talked about being dwarfed by Damian Alford, Christian, when you're at Utah football practice. I'm a little bigger than you. I don't get dwarfed a lot. Usually offensive linemen, everybody gets dwarfed by an offensive lineman. I don't get dwarfed by 17-year-olds very often. I'm 37. I'm 20 years this kid's senior. He is 6'5", 230, and looks the part of what I think you'd consider to be like a junior in college. He looks absolutely chiseled for his age. He's a fun-loving kid, but he absolutely can ball, and I think he's got a self-awareness that kind of belies his age as well. So let's get to the conversation I had with Ryner Swanson. How are you adapting to life as a true freshman tight end playing for BYU football?
Yeah, I've adapted for sure. I'm cool with like every member of the team. Everyone's super chill with each other. There's no beef, which is super nice. I'm not a guy who like creates beef at all. I'm just like a mellow dude. I don't really care. But I've been here since January, and people have known me for 6 months, and I've got to know them. And just adapting to the speed of the game and just the team overall, it's been. I think I've adapted pretty well. It's been good.
How helpful has it been that you came in early?
Very, very helpful. Like right now, I'd barely be seeing the field because the plays that Coach Roderick he's putting in right now are like, they're pretty confusing. If they were putting in those plays in spring ball, I would be screwed. Coming from Laguna Beach, Laguna Beach football, it's just like an air raid offense, and it's a very simple game plan. Okay. This, I had to learn I had to know all the positions, all the tight end schemes, how to block. It's D1 football.
Yeah.
And I was coming from like D7 football, which is a big jump. Yeah, but Laguna Beach is cool. Laguna Beach is dope.
Hey,
I'm very happy I went there.
I think everybody watching.
Shout out to Coach Shanahan.
Yeah.
Shanahan's dope.
Hey, Laguna Beach is heaven on earth. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I'm spoiled for sure.
Absolutely. I also wanted to ask you just, how is it working with Coach Gilbride?
It's very good. Yeah, I'm super blessed to have him as a coach. He gets on me, but also like in a loving way. He knows how to teach instead of like just yelling in your face and telling you to go watch film and look at it yourself. He doesn't yell. Sometimes he kind of yells at like, it's not bad. He's really good at teaching, and he's good at communicating with his players, and he's been in the NFL coaching for 12 years, and he's a phenomenal coach. He's shown a lot of mercy on me because the past couple days I've been just trying to get into the swing of things a little bit. And he's been giving me great opportunities to make plays, which I'm gonna be humble. Yeah, I haven't made like the greatest plays. I've dropped some balls, but it's day 3. We're going to day 4 tomorrow. And Coach Gilbride's been very helpful in teaching me and just adapting to this new level of competition. So yeah, I gotta get my head out of my keister and go attack these balls. Yeah.
You talk about getting along with the guys, obviously on the team, but in the tight end room, you and Keanu are kind of the newcomers to that group. How has it been working with a guy like Keanu, who's got a little more of a wide receiver background?
It's been great. Yeah, we were just walking away from practice, talking to each other. We were just helping each other with the jug machine. Mm-hmm. We got a good relationship. He's super cool. Keanu's such a good dude. He cares. He cares about me. He cares about the other tight ends. He's cool with everybody on the team. He's a great football player because he's been at BYU as a receiver for, I don't know,
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Mm-hmm. And he's had so much experience. So it's really good. Yeah, he's tight. I think he's like the tight end right now. It's been really good watching him these past 6 months, watching guys like Jackson Bowers, Ethan Erickson, Pava. I'm blanking on some of the other guys there.
Jackson and those guys.
Yeah,
okay.
Jackson Bowers and Keanu helped me so much. Not to mention Ethan and Tava, but I've been getting so much help for sure. Keanu's great.
How is it adapting to, I know that you said you played in an air raid scheme in high school. How is it adapting to playing inline tight end and having to block and the physical part of it?
Yeah, it's been weird. It was weird at first. I went to the Poly Bowl, and I was doing some inline tight end stuff, and I thought it was good. It was pretty chill. We didn't have near the level of complexity that we have here. I was at the Poly Bowl, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just a slot receiver my whole high school career, and coming here to start doing inline stuff and blocking freaking Tyler Batty and all these massive DNs. It's not fun at first, but I mean it's a cool experience. Life's all about learning. So yeah, I've had a good role. I've had some good experiences. It's been good.
What is your ultimate aspiration to contribute as a freshman this year?
It's an aspiration.
Do you want to see the field? What do you end in accomplish?
Well, I graduated early so I could play a lot as a freshman before my 2-year mission.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to see the field. I'm doing everything I can. I'm watching a lot of film, trying to do my job. I feel like I'm good with the plays. I think I got the playbook down. Obviously, there's a bunch of mistakes I make and everyone else makes. We're all human. But that's my goal. It's been my goal for a couple of years now. All I can think about is just playing as a true freshman and getting a touchdown and just hearing Lavelle Edwards go crazy. Yeah.
How exciting is it to consider you're going to be playing in the Big 12 and playing all across the country against Utah and the like?
That Utah game's going to be nuts. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah.
We're going to get flamed, but that's just football. Yeah, Big 12 is going to be super cool. Playing in Florida, that's going to be awesome. Kansas, all these big-time schools, great all-time programs. So yeah, I'm super blessed to be at BYU. Right now, I came at a good time right as they're going to the Big 12, and yeah, we're all adapting. We're all getting used to it, and it's been good. We're getting much better.
There you go, Ryner Swanson, and I'm telling you, he looks the part, he sounds the part of the California surfer vibe, but that is just him away from the field. I'm telling you, when you see him on the field, it's a kid who is driven to be good. And you rarely see 17-year-olds see the field in college football. Do not be surprised to see Ryner Swanson playing this fall for BYU.
Well, especially at a position like tight end you're basically a lineman and a receiver at the same time, so you have so much to learn.
Yeah, and he admitted, he's like, trust me, I'm swimming a bit here.
Yeah, but if he is able to see the field as a 17-year-old, no doubt that is very impressive.
Yeah, so very impressed with him. Obviously, he's got a lot to prove because there's a lot of other tight ends on that roster at BYU that have got plenty of experience that they've been in the program, et cetera. But that's the fun part. Best play. That's been the mentality all along, and the mentality it should be. So good to catch up with him. All right, coming up next, we'll come back on the other side. We'll touch on some other topics we have not had a chance to touch on quite yet today. I like to call it 5 minutes of, and we'll get to that next right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Welcome back to the Saturday show here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. That's Christian Esparza. I'm Jake Hatch. Thank you so much for tuning in right here. And we have football on our TVs. We got Chicago. We saw Caleb Williams' first NFL completion. Jaden Daniels had his just a little bit earlier on this morning.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Caleb Williams is not looking too shabby. I mean, I should probably word it differently if you hear not negative connotation. Caleb, I don't want to say he's looking good, but I mean, he's
doing his thing.
He's running the ship here.
He's a rookie.
He's going against most of the Bills ones. Their defense isn't great. They lost a lot of DBs, but I mean, he's already made some cool sidearm throws. Here he is rolling out to the right. Just threw another dart while on the move. I mean, that's why they went and got him number 1.
Caleb Williams, his arm talent is completely undeniable.
Yeah.
You can say anything else you want about him, trust me, and a lot of it's fair. His ability to sling a football, there's not many guys like him in the world. Like the guy on the other sideline in this game, Josh Allen, is one of those guys.
Yeah.
Josh Allen's also 6'5", 250, and just built like a truck. But yeah, his ability to sling the football. There's a lot of other fair criticisms of Caleb Williams. You cannot take away the fact that kid's got elite arm talent. And that's why he's the number 1 pick.
Any other preseason games you're going to be dialed into?
I'm going to check out my Niners.
Get
a look at them. And now, here's the thing with the Niners. Do I expect any of those big guys to play? No, because they already said Christian McCaffrey's not playing in the preseason. He's got a calf strain, and you wrap him in bubble wrap because you know what you got in him. I'm just interested to see the Brandon Ayuk situation, what's happening there.
That's a mess. Did you see, apparently there were reports that the Niners and Browns agreed to a trade, and then Brandon Ayuk said,
I don't want to play in Cleveland.
I don't want to play for Cleveland.
I don't want to go to the mistake by the lake.
Yeah.
I don't blame him, but...
No, I don't blame him either. So it's basically down to Pittsburgh is like the only team left.
Because New England backed out.
Because
he also said he didn't want to play in New England, which was kind of weird to me that New England's a place he didn't want to play. But
but I don't know.
Okay, Niners talk real quick.
Yeah, sure.
Brandon Ayuk, you want to win. You want to win at a high level. Because that tells me you going to Cleveland, passing on Cleveland and passing on New England tells me that you don't think you can win at a quote-unquote high enough level for yourself.
Yet Pittsburgh is
Pittsburgh's
option.
That? Sorry, Russell Wilson. Sorry, Justin Fields. You got a lot to prove.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin's got a lot to prove.
Well, I saw, too, that apparently they reopened negotiations with the Niners for a new contract. So maybe all will be healed at the end of the day, and Brandon Ayuk will remain a 49er for the foreseeable future.
He wants $30 million. He wants to be a top-tier receiver pay-wise. Go ahead, Parker.
Question, is this the messiest trade negotiation in the last since Deshaun Watson?
It's up there. It's just there's so much mixed messaging from both sides on this. Because you're seeing him dap up guys like John Lynch, and he's like, "Oh, everything's good."
Right.
They worked out a deal, and then the next day, I want out.
Well, and I don't know if you've been keeping up with the whole Pretty Ricky situation on Twitter. There's apparently this guy on Twitter who. And he has had some bombs, okay? So he's beating the big insiders like Rappaport and Schefter to these big bombs. He did it in free agency. Yeah. There were a few deals that he announced before the big insiders did. This random account, he doesn't have his face or real name associated at all. Anyways, he broke the report that the Steelers were trading for Brandon Ayuk. And that kind of started everything.
Okay.
Yet it hasn't happened yet. And then you've got Schefter and Rappaport who they'll report their side of things.
Sure.
And then they'll kind of take slight jabs at this Pretty Ricky guy on Twitter saying oh, don't believe these guys that pay for check marks on Twitter who are just making things up and sometimes they hit and sometimes they miss. It's funny seeing how media is handling all that because anybody can buy a blue check mark on Twitter. I bought one.
No, I'm verified. Now, funny enough, I did get verified before you could buy it. And I remember I woke up one day and you've been verified on Twitter. I'm like, what? How did I pull that off? And now
I made it.
Locked On, the network I do my podcast for, actually did that. They applied for me apparently. I was like, cool, I'll take it. But you're right. Anybody can quote unquote become
for a check.
Yeah, if you want to.
So this Brandon Ayuk situation, I mean, he's a really, really good wide receiver, top 15 in the league, definitely, and we'll see where that goes with preseason just ramping up now. I can't wait to watch my Broncos tomorrow, 11 a.m. versus the Packers. Jarrett Stidham getting the first snaps with the ones. Bo Nix might get a series with the starters. We'll see how that goes.
And Zach Wilson is the odd man out.
Zach Wilson's the odd man out.
Here's the thing. The NFL preseason is intriguing to me only when it feels like you see one, like these rookie quarterbacks in particular, first chance to see them.
Yeah, that's always fun.
Outside of that, with the preseason, I'm just like,
yeah.
When it's a bunch of scrubs, like, bring your playbook tomorrow, but you're playing in the game like the night before.
Right. We were talking about earlier, like the second half of the Pittsburgh Steelers game last night. Like, nobody wants to watch Kyle Allen.
No
offense, buddy, but
it's like, yeah, we're out. And
yeah,
who knows? It'll be interesting to see where things kind of land. And I obviously like to track the local guys like Britton Covey, who are challenging. By the way, Britton Covey challenging for the number 3 wide receiver job in Philadelphia. I hope he gets it. The kid deserves it. He's absolutely incredible. But the NFL preseason, it's a whole lot of misses for every small hit, it feels like.
Sione Vaki for the Lions got a couple carries, ripped off a decent run the other day. Devon Vele with the Broncos had a... I haven't been paying attention, but Cole Bishop, drafted by the Bills out of Utah, I haven't seen him. I don't know when he's going to be out there. But yeah, there's a lot of local talent that we will be able to catch in the preseason.
And then you got Taysom Hill over there, who reportedly reportedly squatting 685 pounds.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh yeah, you mentioned Kingsley. Yeah, your Chiefs, Parker. He might be the left tackle this year. We'll see. It'll be interesting. By the way, Taysom, I don't have to put anything past that guy. 685 pounds.
That's a lot of weight.
It's a lot. All right, let's talk some basketball as well.
Let's do it.
Team USA tomorrow, going for the gold.
Is it tomorrow or today?
It's today. It's this afternoon.
Today, yeah.
I'm screwing up. For some reason, I'm off. Yeah, it's today.
Today at 1:30.
Looking forward to this.
Oh, yeah. After that game against Serbia, it's like, okay, these guys are mortal.
Do you buy into your guy? I know that you produce Jake and Ben. Do you buy into the home cooking analogy or theory that they have going?
So, in case you haven't been keeping up with Jake and Ben, okay, a lot of this Olympic basketball has been going on during our show from 10 to noon every day. Started a couple weeks ago with France playing Japan, and Japan was on the verge of beating France.
Had them on the ropes.
And then there was a controversial call at the end of the game, and it ultimately led to France winning. Of course, the Olympics are in Paris. Mm-hmm. So then Jake and Ben kind of got rolling like, oh, maybe they've got the officials in their pockets, right? Then you go back to France, Canada.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
And that one, like the free throw disparity, France shot like 15 more free throws. Any ball that seemed like a 50-50 call, it would go France's way. And so it does beg the question, like it's a fair thing to ask, okay? Are the home refs pulling for the home country to win? Now, are they going to do that in the gold medal game? I don't know, Jake, but it's like, it makes you wonder. Makes you wonder.
Well, the other thing, so it's going to be Team USA versus Team France.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid, who has French citizenship,
right,
was considering playing for France's national team. Yeah. By the way, can you imagine a front line of Joel Embiid, Victor Wembanyama, and Rudy Gobert? That would be an incredible front line.
Yeah, and now Joel Embiid is getting booed every time he touches the ball.
He's been vilified.
Yeah.
French fans are letting him have it. He says this, frankly, I don't understand why I've gotten a lot of criticism from the crowd. They're going to boo me. I'm going to go back at them and tell them to suck it, and it's going to be fun. Yes.
So, and that's an interesting situation, too, because Joel Embiid is... Okay, first I'll start off with I got to give credit where it's due. Mm-hmm. I don't think Team USA gets past Serbia the other night without Joel Embiid. He had a dominant stretch where, he got a bucket, got a block, got a bucket. Mm-hmm. Like, he was doing big things, okay? But then there are other times, like I tweeted in the first half, like, get him off the floor. Like, there are times where it's like he is unplayable.
Yeah, you're right.
But I hate watching him because he's so big, yet he's always on the ground. He's always on the floor. Yeah. He shouldn't be on the floor that much for his size. But regardless, that's going to be interesting going up against Rudy, going up against Wemby. Joel Embiid does not like Rudy. So we could have some fireworks in this.
He's averaging 16 points on 61% shooting over the past 3 games, and he got in trouble as he got fined for it. Do you know the I don't know if you guys are wrestling fans, either you or Parker, the whole crotch.
Yes.
He's been doing it over in the Olympics. He got in trouble. It's banned from the NBA to do that.
Yeah.
The crotch chop, but he's been doing it over there in Paris, and it's only been adding to the fur.
I saw Anthony Edwards doing it too in one of their games.
Yeah,
but
he picked it up from Joel. I'm fairly certain.
No, that's funny.
So I'm interested to see. I want to say Team USA, because the thing about Team USA, the way they showed against Serbia, they were down 17 points. I'm watching Kevin Durant picking up guys 90 feet away from the hoop on defense. LeBron James is decided, you know what? Nobody else can stop Nikola Jokic. I got it, guys. I'm going to lock it down here. Seeing that from them, quite honestly, that was the best basketball I have seen, man, including this past year's NBA playoffs.
Got to mention Steph Curry, too.
He goes for 36.
Yeah, that was
by
awesome.
The way, they're not even as close as they are without Steph Curry.
No, Steph Curry carried them in the first half.
And by the way, there were people talking ahead of that game if Steph Curry is done, like he was cooked. Well, he showed that he's not.
What do you think of the drama with Steve Kerr?
I get it. So I think it's overblown.
So there's controversy. Jason Tatum, coming off a finals win with the Celtics, has barely seen the floor for Team USA. He didn't play against Serbia in the group play. He didn't play against Serbia, just barely.
When we saw him bench Joel Embiid at points, too.
He benched Joel Embiid at points, and then there's rumors out there that LeBron was unhappy with the rotations, and it's a conspiracy that the Team USA might have abandoned Steve Kerr's coaching towards the end of the game and kind of done their own thing, and that's what led to the comeback.
Maybe so. And if they did, great. Here's the thing. LeBron James, when is he ever satisfied with anything?
Yeah.
Like, Le GM, as most people like to call him, like he likes to control things. And, hey, maybe if they did go rogue and it paid off, Steve Kerr can be like, oh, phew, all right, we're good. Because had they lost that game, the headlines, the outrage would have been incredible. They got to go win today, and you are going up against the entire country of France when you go into this game for Team USA, and they're going to have to be able to overcome all that, and we'll see. I also wanted to get in real quick on the Utah Jazz front. Lauri Markkanen.
Oh, yeah.
Gets his deal, 5 years, $238 million. It's a renegotiation to add money to this year. Then it's a 4-year, $196 million extension officially. $220 million in new money overall. Good on him. We were waiting on this. We spent weeks kind of just treading water till this went down.
Yes.
I know your show talks a lot of Jazz and a lot of NBA, and your guys, and Ben was on it from the get-go. I'll give Ben credit. He's like, you know what? They're going to keep him. They're going to sign him to a long-term deal, and then they're going to reevaluate in a year's time. And that's exactly what it appears it's going to be.
And the big thing was waiting a day after he was eligible to secure him throughout the season. If he would have signed it on August 6th, they could have traded him on the NBA trade deadline. But now that he waited a day, you can't trade a player 6 months after they sign a contract extension.
You have to wait a full 6 months, yeah.
And that 6 months would put it after the trade deadline. So essentially, waiting a day, Lowry chose to stay in Utah.
Yeah, so the trade deadline next year is February 6th.
Yeah.
He signed it August 7th. Therefore, February 7th is when he could officially be traded, which therefore won't happen. So he has a year that he's at least guaranteed to be here in Utah.
And the main takeaway for this is that kind of, you always see people on social media saying, we want a timeline, we want it. Like, that's the most frustrating part is nobody knows exactly what the Jazz are like. If we had an idea of what they were doing, it would probably calm some nerves, right?
Sure.
But now this is the first instance where we're like, okay, now we kind of have a timeline, right? You're keeping Lowry for the year, but you're not planning on winning games.
Yeah.
See where you get the draft pick next year, and then start winning from there.
Well, and the other thing about this is I think Lowry is content with where things are going.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think the Jazz have a set timeline.
No.
Ben said this, and I agree with him on this. I don't think that they, in their heart of hearts, have this is how it's going to go.
No, they have 6 different options that they can go, and that's what Danny Ainge wants is the flexibility to really be fluid in any situation. And as we saw with this year, they're going to be standing by, and if a player comes available for trade, then the Jazz are going to jump on it because they have Lauri Markkanen, they have the star player, but then they also have the assets. So it just kind of extends them having the option of we can tank for this season for 2024, 2025.
And it sure looks that way.
We can go get Cooper Flagg if that's where our pick ends up, or we can trade for another big star to come in.
Well, and
they just like having flexibility.
And they reportedly made another signing yesterday.
Yeah.
Svi Mikhailuk, who is a Ukrainian national, played at Kansas, if I recall correctly. Now 27 years old, we played like 40 some odd games for the NBA champion Boston Celtics last year. I think it was a 4-year, $15 million deal. And I saw some people, oh yeah, that's big fish. Like, it's like, guys, slow down.
Right.
Like, there's going to be opportunities for the Jazz in coming months, years to really push all in, to use that example. Right now ain't it.
And this is the type of moves that we're going to see the Jazz make, like bringing in these kind of no-name guys who are intriguing. I've seen this guy compared to Simone Fontecchio, decent athleticism and can shoot. But also at the end of the day, for the people complaining about an overpay, the Jazz have the luxury to do this. They can overpay players like this guy and like a Drew Eubanks because now that gives them more flexibility when it comes to trades. In trades in the NBA, you have to match salaries, right?
Yes, and the other thing is they still haven't formally signed Drew Eubanks.
Right.
It's not done. It hasn't been announced by the team.
Right.
The only thing that we know is done is Lauri Markkanen's extension.
Exactly. So overpaying for these players, I mean, from the outside, it might not seem like a smart move, but when you think about it, it's like, okay, that can give them more flexibility to match salaries in trades if they need.
Well, and there's salary floor implications you have to get to as well that they obviously were, and a lot of that was eaten up obviously by the extension and the renegotiation for Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah.
They ate up a lot of that, but yeah, bringing in Svi Mikhailuk and some of these guys, you mentioned, if they become trade bait, it allows you, as you mentioned, to go out there in the trade market and say, okay, how much money we got to bring back? All right, we got to throw him in to make
and the players don't care. Of course they want to get overpaid. They don't care.
Money's money. It's greed. It spends. It's all they're about. So, this Jazz season, it could be a rough one. It could be.
It's going to be a rough one.
It's shaping up as
Lauri Markkanen is going to stub his toe, miss 4 weeks. Lauri Markkanen is going to pull a muscle sneezing, miss another 3 weeks.
He got a hangnail.
Yeah.
He's not playing.
Yep.
It's going to happen. But we'll evaluate it as it comes along, though. And should one of those timelines as you mentioned kind of come about, like where a big player comes open on the market, guess what, the Jazz, they got all the pieces to throw into the pot to make it work if they want to get that guy. All right. We will take a timeout here. We'll come back, wrap up this edition of the Saturday Show right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Welcome back to the Saturday Show here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Wrapping things up on this Saturday morning. Thank you to all of you for tuning in. All right, Christian, we talked earlier about the Deion Sanders deal and him having a squabble with CBS Sports. I found some context for it.
What is it?
So he spoke to the media for 30 minutes in a press conference, and this is the ESPN report, so it's pretty funny. It comes from the Associated Press, actually. But he says this, the most lighthearted moment of the entire thing, because it was actually his birthday yesterday, speaking of Coach Prime.
Oh, okay.
He's now 57.
So they didn't tell him happy birthday.
Nope, wasn't that. Because he said that he got up there. There was a card and several packages of fried pastries on the microphone. He said this, trying to get my six-pack. I can't eat these honey buns. And he said this, he cracked what would be the lightest moment of his 30-minute news conference, which he would conclude by professing his love for 85% of you. So he said he grew testy when asked about some offensive line questions, also about chemistry, all kinds of stuff. But then he shuts down the CBS Sports reporter, and it said that the thing was closely aligned with 24/7 Sports, which obviously CBS Sports and Paramount own 24/7 Sports. They had detailed the judicial judgment against his son, Shiloh Sanders, who was at a subsequent bankruptcy filing.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he's upset about.
Oh, my gosh.
Shiloh being
How
under
dare
the
they
gun.
report?
I know, report news. Hey, but then apparently he got into it with another reporter from the Denver Post that he accused of always going after his program. And then Deion said that the reporter suggested they should hammer out any disagreements in private. Sanders agreed, but said he wouldn't entertain any football questions from this reporter until they had that conversation.
Nice. Love it. Don't you just love to see coaches restrict access?
Oh, the funny thing about this is his birthday yesterday, and then he also finds out his daughter has his first grandchild.
Oh my gosh.
2 really big things you think, be pretty happy about. It's your birthday. You have your first grandchild.
He's throwing fits because they ask him about his offensive line. Rightfully so. That's crazy.
Well, and then, Kate, so later his sons go to the podium after he got done. I'm just reading the story.
Yeah.
They get up there, and so they were asked about becoming uncles because they found out their sister had had their first child. And Shador says this: "It's really exciting. My sister just got the text." He said all that before being interrupted by his older brother, Deion Sanders Jr., who was like the
social media
He's a
guy.
social media guy. He's videoing all this stuff. Before being told that their sister didn't want them talking about it. Shador then complied. I'm reading from the story. "Oh, well, I don't know what you're talking about," unquote.
That reminds me of when he said the first Big 12 media day, and Alex Carey asked him where Deion is, and he said, "Chilling at home."
Well, okay, I'm just reading. I want to go find this video because then Shiloh Sander cut through the laughter and ignored Deion Jr.'s admonition. "He's nice. He's healthy. I've seen him on FaceTime, so I'm proud of her." Shador answers, "He just said, don't say nothing."
Oh, his family's a mess.
And then Shiloh says, replied with a shrug, "We got some media over here. All the brothers."
Yeah.
I don't know. And then Travis Hunter was supposed to attend the press conference and didn't do it.
Before we wrap, I want to give a shout out to the U.S. women's soccer team.
Yes.
They beat Brazil 1-0.
They're golden.
To win the gold.
Yep.
As Parker mentioned earlier, at least we've got one soccer team that's worth watching.
Their 5th gold medal all time. There were a lot of questions about
First since 2012.
Yeah, they'd had a little bit of a dry spell, as it were, and cool to see him win it. But congratulations, Laura Harvey, who is the new head coach. There was some question about her because she didn't take over this program until like the weeks leading up to this tournament. There was some question if she'd be able to get everything on the same page. Well, they did it. Beat Brazil 1-0. Marta, who was an international legend for Brazil, was her final international match. So there's some nostalgia there. But they come up golden once again. So congratulations to the U.S. women's national team.
Yeah, we love gold.
We do. By the way, on the soccer front real quick, Real Salt Lake signed Diego Gonçalves, who is a number 10 coming over from FC Copenhagen. Over there in Europe. He's a native of Portugal. So, and apparently RSL, this is the 2nd biggest signing in franchise history behind the your namesake Chicho Arango signing. So they're flashing cash and spending money on guys. They're pushing all in.
Let's hope it leads to some hardware.
We'll see. They're not back until the 24th. Ugh.
Yeah.
Anyways, but any other thoughts from you before we go?
No. Yeah, football is almost here. I know Utah State is also scrimmaging. Scotty Gerard, our guy, has been kind of live tweeting some updates from up there. So at least they let media view their stuff.
They do. Good times.
Yeah, but I'm excited.
Well, plenty of coverage, obviously. There's the new kickoff rule again. It's such a weird look. I'm not going to lie. But nonetheless.
Yeah.
That'll do it. So for Christian, big thank you to Parker for producing for us today as well. I'm Jake Hatch. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week here on the Saturday Show and obviously throughout the upcoming week. Keep it locked right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.